I believe it's all about, or mostly about, building up sustainable communities
Yep.
and really focusing on these communities. So how can I nurture the consultant? How can I nurture even ambassadors? How can I have that direct connect between people?
Hey there, and welcome to the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. I'm your host, Sam Hind, and it's my privilege to have you join me today for an interview with a very special guest. You know, I love hearing what people are doing in the direct selling industry, especially those companies that are experiencing growth, maybe in times where other companies and other organizations are certainly not. Well, one of the things that I know many people in the direct selling industry right now are struggling with is recruitment. And in chatting with this amazing human being, I learned that they're doing some incredible stuff in this space and experiencing incredible growth. And I thought it was a no-brainer to pull him onto this podcast and get him to share what they're doing and how they are making this work for them. So I'm going to be introducing you today to the amazing Philipp Grundler, who is the new General Manager of Vorwerk in Australia and New Zealand. And Philipp shares not only what they're doing to not just increase, but significantly increase their recruitment just in the last 9 months alone, but also what their vision is for the future for this incredible company. I know you're going to find this uplifting. You're probably going to pick up a few really great little pointers and tips here. And if nothing else, you're going to learn a little bit about a really amazing company that in Australia, I think has become very much so a household name. You might know it as Thermomix. It's now well known as Vorwerk Australia and New Zealand. And I look forward to introducing you right now to the amazing Philipp Grundler. Well, hello there, and welcome back into the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. I'm your host, Sam Hind, and I am so excited to welcome the amazing Philipp Grundler. Welcome. So great to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
It's a pleasure, and I'm excited for this conversation because you are stirring up the world in direct selling right now. So as the new general manager of Thermomix, you are brand new to Australia, right? Am I correct in saying that? You've come over here.
Absolutely. I was plucked out of Europe basically like less than a year ago and completely moved to Australia and New Zealand. Exactly.
And how is life down under? What do you think of living in Australia?
Oh, it's amazing. Look, I had a little bit of a sneak peek, and I didn't share that much yet. So, like 25 years ago, I've been a backpacker on the East Coast. So I was like traveling for like 4 or 5 months from Sydney to Cairns. Took me quite a while. I had an awesome time, but like quite honestly, life 25 years ago was very different. Not because necessarily that Australia was very different, but I was much younger, you know. But I do love my time here so far. The people are just amazing. It's a very interesting country, and I'm more than blessed being here, quite honestly.
And tell me this, what is the biggest difference you notice between the culture and behavior of Australians versus Europeans? I want to know the true answer here. I feel like
all right. So that is really, really a thin red line where we are now walking
together.
together.
I didn't pre-warn you about that one, did I?
I should have become a diplomat. Okay, let's be quite honest. So I believe Australians are very competitive. Very competitive. They are, right, at least in direct sales, right? And I'm loving that. They're very loyal and they're so much fun, right? And it's like, you know, we went to different events together with my colleagues from the field, and, you know, they're always fun. They know how to have a party in the evening, but the next day they're strong, they are back strong and, you know, very dedicated in whatever they're doing and what they are passionate about.
Right. So they know how to party but get serious, like switch on and off.
Exactly. It's a very perfect combination, yeah.
Okay, all right. Very interesting. That is not where I thought you were going to go with that, but
right.
You are definitely very diplomatic, Philipp. I love it. So tell me this, you travel a lot. And obviously as the general manager of Vorwerk in Australia and New Zealand, that in itself lends itself to lots of travel and seeing, different environments. And I know you love your work, but on a rare day off, I want to know what you choose to get up to. What would we find you doing if you were not at work?
So if it's a Sunday, I definitely will have a long, very long breakfast with like all the different treats I can get, and lots of coffee and maybe newspaper as well, or an online magazine. Really depends, right?
Sounds like
And then
yes.
it's about, sports, and I'm really blessed with the current location where I'm living. I will highly likely go to the beach and spend some time by the beach, like meet friends. And in the afternoon or evening, definitely one of the topics I really love is I'm always saying like Sunday is pizza day. So I'm actually preparing pizza and that is not an advertising, but I have to mention it, in our beautiful Ovana pizza oven. So,
Right.
and I'm actually doing it. I can prove it. I could show next time we're meeting. I'm going to show you some pictures about it.
Okay, I would love to see that. And I will tell you as well, it is one of our very favorite things. Greg told me on my way in here actually to chat with you that we apparently need a second Ovana because it has become such a staple in our home. And over the last week, I think we've had people over twice and done pizzas in our
All
pizza
right.
oven.
All right.
So there you go. We love it too. It's a great thing to have for sure. Now, on that note, I've got another fun question. This is a personal one. I want to know the answer to this. Two parts to this question. The first one is this: what is your personal favorite Thermomix recipe? And the second one is, what's the weirdest thing you've ever seen anybody, or the most surprising thing you've ever seen anybody cook in their Thermomix?
Okay, the first thing is hard because like if you look at my most cooked recipes, it's actually pizza dough, right? Yeah. However, what I really do like, I mean, quite honestly, it's like everything. What I'm preparing with the TM7 or the TM6 back then is great. What I do love as a German or a Central European, I do love to prepare on the different levels. So really use the Varoma as well. Asparagus, a nice sauce hollandaise with it because it's always on point. And what I
Yep.
started lately to do a little bit more often with the new open cooking function is to prepare some more curries and like really enjoy, and I'm really enjoying these kind of recipes a little bit more because it's hard to get white asparagus in Australia, quite honestly.
Oh,
So
yes, it is very hard to get white
yeah.
asparagus. Actually, it's interesting you bring up hollandaise, and I know this isn't what we're here to talk about today, but
Mm.
the one go-to for Greg, he doesn't do a lot of cooking. He definitely uses the Thermomix almost every day, but he doesn't do a lot of, I guess, gourmet creative cooking. But the one thing that he will do for all special occasions, when it's like Mother's Day or Christmas Day and he wants to do like a breakfast in bed or treat me, is the hollandaise, and he gets it perfect every time because really you can't fail, can you? So it is a
Absolutely
brilliant.
not. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And so the strangest thing you've ever seen someone cook?
I wouldn't say the strangest, but one of the most, let's say, creative recent usages of our aroma, so of our, let's say, steaming function, so to say. So we introduced like this open cooking function, right, where you can, and we're like advertising as well, that you can fit in a whole chicken, right? But
Yeah.
what that consultant did, what I was actually, and I think I saw it on Facebook, was having two chickens actually steamed inside the Varoma, because the Varoma is now much larger, I believe like 45% higher volume. So now you can fit like two chickens in there and just steam them. Of course, you're probably in addition, probably fry them beforehand, depending on the usage. But that's just perfect, actually perfect usage. I really want to try that once I'm back home.
Two chickens. Yeah. Okay.
Two chickens, yeah.
So it sounds like the new one's got a bit more space. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So, Philip, let's have a little bit of a chat. I mean, you've come in as the new general manager of Vorwerk in Australia and New Zealand. And we have seen some incredible things happening in Australia with Vorwerk, with Thermomix. And, while a lot of companies are on struggle street or have decided to go e-commerce or affiliate, you guys have almost gone the complete opposite and doubled down on consultants, on field support. Um, First of all, what is the vision around this? What is the reason that you've gone really in so many ways the complete opposite direction of the consideration or the action of so many other companies in direct selling right now?
Yeah, it's a very, very valid question, and I believe it took a while for us partially. So I'm like 11 years with Vorwerk in different positions. It took probably a while for us to adjust our strategy and actually to realize as well where we should head to, right? Because of course, like years ago, not recently, we had discussions about, I don't know, retail, going affiliate and all of that, and we're still having retail activities in other markets, but still with the consultant being in the center of all activities, right? So for us, the focus is really how can we support the field, the consultant, the team leader best in order not only to build up their business or use their opportunity, but to have fun, to be recognized and actually supporting them and not taking something away from them. So we actually implemented couple of measures which worked pretty well, focusing on recruiting, having a closer look and how we're selling online with our web sales, etc., etc. And that's something that was a little bit of a readjustment or maybe even a turnaround for Thermomix in Australia and New Zealand. And it's still a mind change, we are not at the end, but it will still take a while until we are there where we want to be.
Right. And so what was the reason for, again, a lot of companies are saying, oh, we need a pivot, we need to move, we need to, go affiliate or e-commerce. And you guys are going, no, we need to go back to the heart of what direct selling is and support the field. What was the reason for that? Why that decision when others are going in the other direction?
Look, we were all very lucky in direct sales or most of it, direct sales business-wise during COVID. Most companies were flourishing. Some MLMs were growing by 50, 100, 150%, or even more within a year or 2 years, right? We had a spike from that as well, but which was really a sugar spike. And we were lucky that we adjusted our strategy before COVID already, having a strong focus on recruitment. So that is actually our lever, like to bring people in and actually to show them the opportunity to either like become a part of our community, an ambassador, probably just being like newcomers who'd like to earn their clients and earn get a discount through sales, for example, right? And that's like the main reason why we were doing this was it's always up to the people. We saw, I wouldn't say we saw coming that like this affiliate approach or like e-commerce fully is probably the wrong answer, but like we are very special in direct sales as well. We are selling an appliance that costs way over $2,000, right? We are not selling cosmetics, nutritions. We are not a multi-level marketing company. We are direct sales single level, right? So our advisors, our consultants sell directly to the customer. There's just one intermediate. They're not buying from us and then reselling it. So it's very, very different. And for that, you need people to explain as well what advantages the TM7 does have. If you're talking about nutrition, there are for sure, hundreds, dozens of advantages, right? But they are probably easily to be described, to be defined. I just talked to a peer of mine in the industry, and it was like, it takes for us 5 minutes to train our consultants, and then they are ready to go and to sell. That's a little bit more complicated when it comes to our TM7. Then you probably just need the passion, and you need somebody in person taking your hand and following the path in order to do a demo, etc., and become part of the family. And it's from a customer perspective, it's awesome as well because you're using your clients the Thermomix to its full potential. The worst for me is somebody telling me I have it sitting on the bench and I'm just cooking eggs on Sunday. Right? Because it's just such a small percentage of what it's able to do and actually improve people's life. And that's something I'm really, really believing in.
Yeah, awesome. And so, with the experience that you have, and I know you're very passionate about the direct selling industry as a whole, How do you personally believe that companies right now need to shift in order to keep this industry strong into and beyond 2025?
Yeah. I believe it's all about, or mostly about, building up sustainable communities,
Yep.
and really focusing on these communities. So how can I nurture the consultant? How can I nurture even ambassadors? How can I have that direct connect between people? And of course, the internet, e-commerce, and all the social media is one channel, right? But I believe it's not the only channel. What we learned after COVID as well, and I'm not sure about Australia. I'm just talking from my European perspective, right? Everybody was like really craving in order to meet up with their family, with their friends, with people, right?
Yep.
And that is actually something we try to nurture, meeting up in person, having large events, having branch meetings, not only once a month or hybrid, but maybe exclusively in person. Yeah.
Yep.
And if you want to be part of the community and have fun and advantages from it as well, then you better be there in person. And I believe that's actually what I just mentioned, the consultant, but as well like the people itself in the middle of all of our activities, and nothing affiliate, online, e-commerce, etc. And social media does support, but it's not the answer to everything, by far not.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with that. It's a tool, right? It's a vehicle to
It is.
help you connect with more people, but at the end of the day, we're still dealing with humans. I love that you guys have doubled down and really focused on community, but I would say that you're also very focused on building trust, because you're building up a community of consultants now that feels safe in an industry that has felt very unsafe for a little while. We've seen a number of companies very sadly disappear or shift or close, or a number of different things happen here. And you guys have said, let's make sure that these guys feel solid and safe as a Thermomix consultant. So I really respect that. Something that I find really interesting, though, is while a lot of companies, and I would say majority of companies right now, are struggling with recruitment, you guys have doubled your consultant base in the last 9 months, which is such a huge shift. What specific changes or initiatives have you implemented that have driven that growth?
Different topics, basically. First of all, what you just mentioned, building up trust with the field. First
Yeah.
of all, very important. First thing we did after the acquisition, like a week or 2 weeks after, we had a large event with a big farewell to the previous owners, who did a great job in the last 24 years building up the business here, but as well to getting to know the people, meeting them, over 350 consultants, BDMs, etc., being there in a place. In addition, I was having like long meetings or workshops the day before and 2 days after with our BDMs in order to build up that trust, and hearing them, but as well exchanging about like my views, their views, and then finding the right spot. So I believe that's like the base, the fundament of everything. But of course, then we had to look at other topics as well. And what I do strongly believe is, how can we be attractive as a company for people to join us, right? To be recruited. And I think it's very, very important that we should open up the doors and invite everyone, no matter what their background is, no matter what their, I don't know, their sexuality is, what your nationality, what their cultural background is, first of all. And then secondly, don't have high barriers, right? People are telling me always like we need to recruit professional sales force, professional salespeople. That's in direct sales, at least single level. It's not true. We should recruit everyone, and quality and qualification can be always learned. If you're passionate about something, you're learning it on your way. We take your hand and leading you that way in order to be a great consultant and team leader, and maybe BDM later, or even general manager in the end, right?
Yeah.
And that's something I learned. Invite everyone. Everybody is important for us as a company, but even more so as a community. And we don't need to recruit We don't. Our recruits don't need to sell like 10 or 20 or 30 TM7 within half a year in order to be valued, right? It's not even that they need to sell one. They just should be coming like into the community, part of us. And if they make one or two sales only to their friends or family, and show that beautiful product, but our community as well there, then it's all a lot already, right? And
Yeah.
very valuable
Yep.
for us.
So it is just showing them that they're valued and having people share that.
Yeah.
And it creates a culture, doesn't it? A community
It
of
does.
people that want to be a part of something. They see a movement and they want to be a part of that movement. So I love that. And what about training? You know, we talk a lot on this podcast about training and strategies, etc. And, you know, when it comes to recruiting and it comes to some of these initiatives and things that you're doing at the moment, people want to know, you know, how do I recruit? How do I grow my business? You're obviously doing something right in that space. What are some of the training strategies that you're implementing at the moment to arm people to go out there and share the message?
Yeah, first of all, we are very hard working on simplifying our training journey. Of course, being like 100% compliant, still having fun, etc. But we are really trying to simplify it. If we're seeing the potential directly or indirectly by just performance, that somebody goes into the team leader sphere, of course, that will be a little bit intensified training there, but that will be adjusted as well, right? We want to make it easy for people to even like, you know, develop with us, not staying eventually on the consultant level, but probably in the team leader level, becoming a team leader, building up their own teams and developing people, spreading the love, the responsibility, the opportunities, etc. That's one thing, basically. And like, you know, really the little things, right? We've been talking a lot, and we still partially do that when we're in people's home about like, well, would you like to join the business? And I'm like, look, we shouldn't offer people the business opportunity in the first step. It should be just very easy. Would you like to join us? Would you like to pay with your money or with your time in order to get your TM7? And then, of course, we are supporting this strategy with attractive offers, basically. So that they can become a community. Because face it, when I started almost 11 years with Vorwerk, I was not planning on becoming a GM. It just developed that way over time, right?
Yeah.
And the same as with our consultants and recruits. They probably just wanted to earn the Thermomix. They joined, and that actually, like, I don't know, our head of training and field development joined this way. Our regional managers joined this way. So that is like, you know, you can become anything in direct sales, basically, if you show passion, performance, and loyalty and trust.
Yeah, awesome. I love that. And it's such a good point. You know, we got to stop and think about how we develop and evolve. And, you know, that whole concept that why would I expect someone to behave differently to the way I would behave? Give them time. And some people will jump straight in. Other people will start as customers and become raving fans, right? And then want to know how they can do more.
Yeah, and maybe if I add there one point, the best colleagues or subordinates, I don't like the term, but like, you know, my direct reports, the best of them were always those who nobody had on the agenda. And then they were completely excelling due to several reasons. These hidden gems are everywhere. But it's important just to open up and not to pre-select too much, because some people are just developing very much. And I do have a finance background. I started as an internal auditor with Vorwerk 11 years ago. Now I'm responsible of two markets with sales and marketing responsibility as a GM. If you're just looking at my CV, you probably wouldn't have expected that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I love that. Really good point. And let's talk a little bit about innovation, because we've talked about, I know you guys are really passionate about, I would say maintaining some of that old school tradition. I don't want to say old school, but that the stuff that makes this industry just so wonderful is some of the stuff that's been there since day dot, right? So, you know, how do you balance that tradition, that those things that make this industry special, that you're really going back to the roots of that community, the human to human, the connecting, with also being innovative at the same time. What does that look like for you, and development of products, etc.? Because again, as soon as you add change in, it can rock the boat. So how do you balance that out, or how are you envisaging balancing that out?
Yeah, it's definitely Sam. It's definitely a challenge, right? When it comes to products, I cannot really tell much since I'm not at our engineering and R&D entity, right? But I think we just have a wonderful, very greatly designed product with great features in it, and for sure that 10-inch screen will have additional killer features sooner or later, right?
So what you're saying is that there's new things on the horizon that you're going to tell us all about on the podcast today, right?
Definitely not, but there's always something on the horizon. But as Cookie Dough is evolving, right, and that's like a promise we gave like 10 years ago when Cookie Dough started, basically. Like, look, we're making your Thermomix better every day, even if you don't get anything physical in addition, right? So the software side and that phygital, we're calling it, the merge between physical and digital, is very much embedded in our culture already. And for sure, there are coming updates which are adding features. However, sometimes I'm not even aware of it as a GM of the market, because, like, of course, we want to keep up the surprise momentum, right, to make our sales force and field and customers excited. Having said that, going back maybe to direct sales, right? What is very important to us? Yes, the direct sales fundamentals, community, meeting in person, and all of that. But of course, having the right tools in place as well. So, for example, what we're doing in Australia already, and what some European markets probably will copy one day, I don't know, is that when there's a certain activity of our consultants or team leaders, and people that are, or customers of them and us, are making a purchase online, they're getting commission on it, right? Without really the consultant needing to invest additional time into that. But of course, if somebody's buying online a Cutter Plus, right, that is actually something where eventually the consultant has actually a reason to contact the customer again, in order to maybe create a new or revitalize a booking chain as well, right?
Yeah.
I see many reasons, like we love our hostess reward system, right? So somebody's making a demo at home, inviting a consultant or team leader, some other friends, family. And then they can choose if there is a sale, or if they just have the demo, choose from a different kind of product, which is changing every 1-2 months, basically. I'm asking myself, why is that in a PDF format on a sheet of paper? Why don't we have the digital? Why don't we use the lovely loyalty program we're having online in order to support and give more freedom, and actually more possibilities as well, to the customer, consultant, and team leader, in order to use that, right? These are different topics that need to be driven, and not for the sake of having a loyalty program, but because it's supporting team leaders and consultants in order, after a certain period, of course, having sustainable booking change, having a reason to call people who love to have demos at their house, etc. So they actually can focus on that, what is most important when it comes to the business opportunity, selling TM7 and or recruiting, right? That's like these two things they should actually focus on, and we in the background supporting them the most in the most possible way, and best possible way.
Yeah, awesome. And so with a company right now that is so focused on that in-person, the human to human, and yet having consultants who are so active on social media, as we know, we've had the pleasure of doing a lot of work with your field and training them on social media. But I know that you have that more traditional approach as well, holistically as a business. How are you guiding your field right now to blend that modern digital world with the traditional model?
That's the beauty of the business. our consultants and team leader know best, because they were trained well eventually by you, for example, right? They know best how to do it, right? Of course, we
Yep.
do have some guidelines and policies and ideas about like how they are using social media in our Thermomix community and world, right? But I think it would be the wrong sign to be very strict with that and actually like restricting their access to assets or whatever, right? Because
Yep.
they know best in order how to do that. But of course, we are telling them as well. Social media is not everything. It's one of your channels, right?
Yes.
I
Yep.
don't want Thermomix to become just a distribution channel because we're not a
Mm-hmm.
distribution channel
Yep.
at all. On the contrary, we're never going to be affiliates, never
Yeah.
ever.
And
Our
actually
consultants.
on that, I was there at the event where you announced that you were stopping website sales. That's an amazing move. And it sounded like it was very welcomed by the field as well.
And it was like, like I had many, like I really had to buy in our or my colleagues in the headquarter and head office in Australia as well, because they were like, yeah, but then we're losing X% of our revenue. I'm like, yeah, we're losing it for a month or 2 or 3 months, but the field is going to pay us back in the meaning of they're happy about it, they're thrilled,
Yeah.
and they actually believe not only hear what I am saying or what we are saying,
Yeah.
consultant in the middle, but they are experiencing it and proving
Yeah.
actually with actions what especially I have been telling them. And we
Yeah.
just switched off web sales for main appliances. Of course, everything else can be still bought online, but
Yeah.
that was like the a very important decision to do, and it was highly appreciated. Seeing like dozens, hundreds of ladies not believing what they're hearing first of all, then realizing it, and then being like overly happy. Somewhere even like, I mean, you've been there crying about that, right? They were really in a positive way,
Yeah.
tears out of joy.
Yeah.
And as well, what we changed as well in order to make that, you cannot purchase a TM7 when you go into one of our offices where we are still allowing walk-ins for servicing and repairs and all of that. But you cannot buy your TM7 there as well. Then they create a lead for our sales force, which will be then distributed to our consultants and team leaders.
Yeah, amazing. So, and I would say that's got a huge part to do with why you've managed to double your field size in 9 months, because suddenly there's that trust that they've got my back. They're not going to, I'm not going to do all the work and then someone's going to turn around and buy it from the website, right? So,
Exactly.
I love that you guys have invested in supporting them in so many ways. So, what does the future vision look like for Vorwerk? What's the road ahead look like? Excited to hear where you're headed.
I can just talk for Australia and New Zealand, of course, but when it comes to Salesforce side, actually, I don't want to give out a number because it's probably for some people hard to like set it into relation. But I really want us for Thermomix in Australia and New Zealand to be at the top of the Thermomix world internationally.
Yeah.
Which would mean when we're talking about number of units sold annually in the 6-digit range, so 100,000 and up, Australia and New Zealand
Mm.
combined, but sustainably, not only having like a sugar spike and then next year you're falling down. And that's something where I was really learning a lot and experiencing a lot in, believing, achieving, with having a vision without being delusional, really
Yeah.
working towards it in the previous market, which is very successful still and
Mm.
growing for like 5-6 years already. And I truly believe that in a couple of years, not next year, right? It'll take a while, but in a couple of years, we're really going to be there. And that's my target. That's what I'm committed to. And that's what I
Yeah.
constantly tell everyone who wants to hear it and who doesn't want to hear it, because
I
we
was going
need
to
to be
say
on board.
there are some general managers of other regions right now that probably don't want to hear that. But
No, we're
go
very
get them.
collegial, actually. We're very collegial. We are all friends on the GM level in Vorwerk. So that's good. We're very open, supporting each
Also
other.
very
So,
competitive. Like you are,
but
you're becoming
competitive.
an Australian.
Exactly. Competitive, but still friends, right?
I love it. So good. Well, Philip, I'm so excited for what's happening with Thermomix and Vorwerk and the direction that you're headed. And I think it is amazing that you're doubling down on this industry and growing strong right now. So I definitely think that maybe some other companies could take a look at what you guys are doing and say, hey, how can we in some ways go back to what's made this industry so special? Because I think people are, and you've recognized it, hungry for connection, and that's what makes this industry what it is, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and I believe that's a little bit the feedback as well, which I felt, not only to me but like in general when I was a few weeks ago at the annual conference of the Direct Sales Australia
Yeah.
Association, because there were of course like many people talking about affiliates, etc., etc., and I'm not judging that. It's just not our business model, right, or our way to do the business, and they can do that, and it's for sure successful. Wouldn't be successful for us at Thermomix, right?
Yeah.
But like that was like the feedback, like really what you just mentioned, really focusing on what is important in the business, valuing the field, having a thriving community, and the successful companies were actually doing that.
Yeah.
Or are doing
Yeah.
that.
Awesome. And so I've got my 4 favorite questions of any
Oh,
podcast
okay,
interview. I'm excited to ask you these ones. So you ready? You buckle
shoot out.
in. We're gonna do rapid fire
I
here.
love
The
it.
first one
Yeah.
is, what is your favorite book for the Accelerator book list?
All right, I have a couple of, but I can tell you what I'm reading right now,
Huh?
and I try to read it once a year. There are like 1, 2, 3 books I try to read once a year. It's actually
Yep.
from I believe it was Jake Humphrey,
Mhm.
High Performance, right? So
Yep.
becoming better and better and better every day, more or less,
Yep.
in a nutshell, right?
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
that's something I try to do in the business as well. You don't reinvent a whole company within a day, within a week, not even within a year, because it always involves people. And I'm not talking about other people, but I have problems and issues with change as well sometimes. So,
Yep.
some things just take time in order to become not only good, but becoming great as well.
Amazing. So personal growth for career growth, right?
Yeah.
So you said you've got a couple of favorite books. Did you want to give us another name? Throw another one out there?
Yeah, I don't have the title right now on top of my head. It's basically written by the previous General Electric CEO. Can you help me with that?
GE? No.
Jack Welch, I believe. Welch could be. And he brought out a couple of books around leadership,
Yep.
and how to lead people, how to motivate people, and basically having trust as one of the, let's say, fundamentals in business, for example. And a third book is actually one, and once again I don't remember the title. It's actually a book I bought when I was in Australia for the first time in my life, so roughly 25 years ago, as a
Wow.
backpacker, and it's called Losing My Virginity by Richard Branson.
Yes.
I don't, probably the title is not really fitting out nowadays anymore, right? However, what I really loved, like in his in this chronicle of his like business and personal growth and development, was like sometimes you're not going straight. Sometimes you need to take turns.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to think out of the box, which was very nice and very inspiring for me to read. And I
Yeah.
still remember that. Sadly, the book is, I don't own the book anymore, but I'm reading it on the Kindle once in a while as well. And that was back then, as a 20-year-old, very inspiring.
Yeah. Awesome. And your favorite quote?
Yeah, it's actually, I believe, on my LinkedIn as well, and it's basically coming from well, let's say, a German slogan, but literally translated, it's more like the future demands creativity over hierarchy, let's say, right? And openness and trustworthiness, right? So hierarchy is helping up to a certain point, because it's part of leadership as well, right? There
Yep.
needs to be a certain hierarchy, and somebody needs to be like, okay, let's go walk into that direction, right? But too much of it does kill creativity, I believe. I
Yep.
strongly believe. Just like sometimes IT or working in front of a computer kills creativity as well. So, and that's an anecdote. Sorry for telling, but that's really an anecdote. I try not to work on a plane, and I'm spending every week 10 to 15 hours on average on a plane in Australia and New Zealand. My computer stays shut. I'm not opening up. I just have a notebook or even just a couple of blank cards. And if I have some thoughts, strategy wise, incentives, etc., I'm noting it down. Right.
Yep.
Because I believe it's important sometimes to have creative moments where you're not distracted by modern ways of communicating. Even though I love them, I'm a first mover. I have 96. I had my first internet account or access, right? So I'm really a native, but sometimes you need to switch off from it.
I love it. Do you know, it reminds me of one of my most creative times in business was sitting on a plane when I was reading Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, one of my absolute favorite books of all time. And I love sitting on a plane reading that book or listening to that book because at the end of each chapter there are prompts and exercises to do. And I've had my most productive time in my business in those moments where I've had nothing else to do and I've deliberately sat down and just let my creative brain come out. And I actually look forward to long trips now where I can do that because I find that a really creative time. So I hear you. I think that's a really great tip. Now, if you could have a superpower, any superpower, what would it be and why?
Actually, teleportation, cutting down my travel time. I'm quite
I've
honest.
had that one already today.
but really, because I want to be with people as well, right? So I'm still having some branch manager which I didn't visit yet in their region. I'm meeting them very frequently in person, but like for example, I've never been to Dubbo, for example. I haven't been to the South Island of New Zealand, right? Because it just takes for me a long time to get there, but I'm getting there. So my target was to go everywhere in my first full year. So my Qantas app and my Virgin app is fully booked already with flights for the rest of the year.
Yep. I love it. So I hear you. I think that'd probably be in my top 5 superpowers for sure. And I've heard some good ones come up over the time on this podcast. So the last question, Philipp, is if you could go back in time and say one thing to your past self, what would that be?
Sometimes be more proud of what you have achieved, but being still humble and grateful for it.
Yeah, so good. So good. I love that. Really powerful. Look, Philipp, I am so grateful that you have joined me today. So thank you so much. It's been a privilege to chat with you and hear about what you've been up to and the vision ahead. So thank you so much for taking this time out to join me.
I have to thank you. It was a pleasure as always, and I'm looking forward meeting you and your partner and your little one sometime soon, hopefully again.
Yes, hopefully. And thanks, of course, as well to our beautiful listeners again for tuning on in. It was so great to have you here today. And don't forget, share this episode with somebody, subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming episodes. And of course, if you want some social media tips and tricks, you can always join our free Facebook community as well, where we're dropping in and sharing with you some strategies to help you grow your business. And that is in social media for direct sellers with Greg and Sam. But for now, that's it from us. So thank you very much. Thanks again, Philipp, and bye for now. Thank you for joining us in this episode of the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. If you love listening and you found that this was helpful for your direct selling business, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also check out the recommended video that's popped up on your screen right here. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.